Hello everyone, and it's time for another countdown post and video using some new July MFT products that are going to come out next week. So there'll be more info on my blog, which will be linked right below the video. So all the info and links will be there. But for this card, I'm actually going to show two cards in this video. I'm using the new Balloon Stacks Dynamics, which I'm super excited about. So a variety of balloon shapes, which you can never have too many balloon shapes in my opinion. But anyway, I used the largest die to die cut some Grapesicle cardstock. I die cut two balloon shapes, and the largest is about 3.5 by 4 7/8, so it's almost a perfect 4-bar sized, which if you guys have been watching my videos and my blog posts for the last few weeks-ish, I've been obsessed with that size, so this is perfect. So I stamped a sentiment from the new Celebrate You stamp set with white pigment ink, the Sweet Tooth pigment ink, and then embossed it with some white embossing powder. And then I stamped the same sentiment just onto a scrap of masking paper. You could use a post-it note if you wanted to do something similar. It doesn't matter what color of ink, because I just wanted to trim around the sentiment and then mask it off before stamping the new diagonal background stamp with Grapesicle ink. So I inked up the stamp, and then I'm going to flip over my little card front here and then cover that with some scratch paper, just so I don't completely cover myself with ink. It tends to happen, but I try to prevent it when I think about it. So it looks like a right mess here, but I'm going to peel off that little mask so that the sentiment just kind of pops a little more, and then the blotchiness of the ink is going to smooth out as the ink completely dries. And then for my last little embellishment, I just grabbed this little confetti stamp from the same Celebrate You stamp set. And I actually wanted to just have one little confetti to stamp, because it's a lot easier to just trim apart the stamp like this than to try and selectively ink one of something up when they're this close together. And if I ever do want to re-stamp this little stamp, like all three together, it's easy to just bump them all up together when you put them on your acrylic blocks, so it doesn't hurt anything, and I find I get more use out of it. So I'm getting a lot more comfortable with chopping my stamps apart. So to make this an actual shaped card, you can do it one of two ways. Like I showed, you could have the score line at the top or at the side, just depends on how you want the card to open. I prefer top fold cards. I don't know, it's just a force of habit. So I just scored a line about 1/2 inch from the top of the little balloon, and then folded it over a couple times so that it folds open easily. And then I inked up this happy birthday sentiment again from the Celebrate You set with the grape jelly ink, and then stamped that little confetti with the Grapesicle ink. And then I'm just going to use the same Grapesicle ink again, and I just sponged around the edges of the balloon for the front of the card. It just kind of finishes off a little bit, since I'm keeping it fairly simple. And then I just used my ATG adhesive along the fold, making sure to apply the adhesive above the score line so that it's not like gluing your card shut. Because trust me, I've done it. So once I did that, I'm going to add just a little bit of baker's twine to the front balloon. Again, you want to make sure you apply this to the front balloon and you don't tie your card shut. So I was being very careful of that. You know, I've been pretty crazy busy lately with a teething baby, so I don't have a lot of card making time. But this one came together quite easily, so it turns into this fun little shaped card. And then for my second card, I want to do kind of the same thing, but go a little further. So I die cut several balloons from the Balloon Stacks Dynamics and some different MFT cardstock. And then I got all the coordinating ink out, and I sponged all of them. And you'll see as I set them down when I'm done sponging, it just really finishes it off and gives it so much more dimension. And I made a point of adding more ink to kind of the lower and lower left areas of each balloon. Again, keeping them all kind of similar, like applying the same amount of ink as well, just so that they're all, they all kind of flow together easily, but it just gives it that little extra something that you don't get when you just leave die cuts plain. So to get this to fit into a standard A2 envelope, I just trimmed down a piece of just scrap paper to 4¼ by 5½ inches, so that I can line up all these balloons and still pop them into a standard size envelope. If you wanted to make this card bigger, you could make your own envelope using like the We Are envelope board, which I do have. I just usually don't have paper large enough to make larger envelopes, so I tend to stick to the standard A2 size. So Again, baker's twine for these little balloons. This time I'm just using some black and white baker's twine, and then kind of figuring out how I'm going to lay out these balloons and just applying some Tombow Monomulti, making sure not to go over any of the exposed edges there because I don't want to glue these balloons to that scrap paper, and I just don't want glue oozing out in general. So getting them all kind of lined up, it looks kind of messy here with all these strings, and for half a second I thought about just letting them all hang, but it looked so messy. So I kind of gathered them all up together and then just took another piece of baker's twine and just wrapped it around and trimmed it down, and then trimmed off all the ends there, so it looks like this nice little gathered bunch of balloons. So again, you could leave it as just like this because it's really, really cute, but I wanted to add a sentiment. So I grabbed one of my Dimensional Banners Dynamics and die cut it from some heavyweight smooth white cardstock. And I grabbed the birthday chalkboard greeting stamp, and you can see I held my acrylic blocker, like my stamp press, over the banner and applied the stamp and bent it. That's one of the benefits of using clear stamps, is it was able to bend it kind of easily to go over the banner here, so it kind of looks like it fits better on the banner. And then I just used the pencil there to make lines so that I made sure I was able to stamp kind of directly in the middle there. And then just folded the ends of the banner on the score lines that were already there, and then adhered those down with some Tombow Monomulti. I decided I didn't want to use like dimensionals or keep this banner popped up really high, because keeping it flatter, again, you could just pop it in an envelope. You wouldn't have to pay any extra for postage and it'd go right through, no problem. So again, using my scrap paper to keep the banner from hanging too far over the edge so that it again fits in the standard like A2 shape. And then for the back of the card, I just used the largest balloon. I was thinking of layering several of the shapes to make the back the exact same shape as the front, but decided because the other balloons didn't hang over very far that I can get away with using just one piece of cardstock and just the one largest balloon. So again, I squared that one about half an inch from the top. And then I grabbed another sentiment from the birthday chalkboard greetings and bent it just like I did for the first one, more so this time so that it would fit on this balloon. So inked it up with my Black Licorice Hybrid ink, and then just using Tombow Monomulti this time for this balloon and lining it up with the red one. I'm going to adhere that, and that's all there is to it. So again, there will be a link below the video to my blog post with links to the MFT blog and all the info about the release. Because some of these links will not work until Tuesday, as they are sneak peeks of new products, which are super fun and exciting. So stay tuned for some more videos and posts on my blog. And thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing to my videos, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!